In this tutorial, I will discuss class analysis in a hierarchy. This means that I have the ability to analyze mapping projects across multiple projects in a larger hierarchy project. By identical classes, by different classes. I can do this for a project where multiple restaurators have mapped projects in parallel time to then check if classes were changed afterwards, class names were changed, or new classes were added in some projects and not in others. Or maybe I have an old project where I retroactively combine existing mapping projects into a hierarchy and then bring order to the individual projects. I go left in the hierarchy tree and select my mapping template, Untersuchung or examination, right mouse button, and open the Analyzing and Purging Classes dialog. All projects from the hierarchy are now being read in. I get an overview of my entire hierarchy here in this dialog. At the top, I have Analyzing and Purging Classes and the template name Untersuchung. Then I have on the left side the names of my mapping classes that are included in my project. I can also sort alphabetically by name here by clicking on the table header. I can sort by the type of mapping next. When I click on a number here, the classes are sorted by the number of entries. And after that, all columns are the listing of the individual projects, where you can simply see the quantity of mapped elements. So this is less about quantity evaluation, but more to double check if any mapping has been done in the project, or if a topic was not yet addressed in this project. Or when I sort by number again, I also have mapping classes that have no content throughout the hierarchy because all elements are 0. And I can think about removing the classes from the hierarchy after the cleanup. Here above, there are two pull-down menus. I have the option to define the content by group. I'm choosing standard groups for now. And then I have a group selection here where I get to see the corresponding classes separated by type. I can select legend here, for example, and I see all the legends available in the hierarchy. Or I choose area mapping and I see all the area mapping classes again. This way I can see the sum of the mapped elements and can then look again which classes are empty and which classes I want to keep in the hierarchy or remove from the hierarchy. Then, as a second option, I can have the user-defined groups. These are the groups I created in a template project for group management. In the all group, all mapping classes are displayed. Or I select the group Maßnahmen or measures and see all classes assigned to Maßnahmen. And then I see different colors here. I see the warning here that classes are missing in the individual projects. Then I see that the Maßstabsleiste class is included in the template, but it has not been assigned in the subsequent projects yet. I go back to the all group and can see some individual classes with red font on the left in the mapping class list. And when I hover over it with my mouse cursor, I see class missing in template. This means that it was created during the mapping of the individual projects, but it is missing in the mapping template, which actually organizes the projects in the hierarchy. When I want to clean up something like this, I go to the class name, I right-click it in the first step, add class to the template. And this will be adjusted in all projects immediately. And then I see black text here now, the class is now available in the template. And we right-click on the right mouse button, pass classes from mapping templates to projects. And whenever this process has taken place, all projects are then read back in so that I can check the content. Now I have the special group classes missing in template up here. That means I will filter out all classes that are missing in a template project. If I now see that they are all 0, then I could also say that I don't need them in my hierarchy. I can select all classes with the Shift key pressed, then right-click, and then delete the classes. And they will be completely removed from all projects. I switch back to the measures or Maßnahmen group, and I would like to simply construct 2 to 3 special cases by making some changes to the project and then show you how I can correct that in the class analysis. So we close the class analysis. We open a single project here by double-clicking it. Here's my mapping project. I go to the Maßnahmen group and open a class management. In the first step, create a new class and name it Führung. We assign a color. We create a second Führung class again and call it Führung Test. Create the second Führung class. And now I'll take a mapping class, Rückbau or removal, and rename it to simulate a typo. I'll take care of that now and close the window. Go to my class Führung and make 3 quick entries. We save the project. We close the project. And then I open the dialog for the class analysis and go to the template, right-click, analyzing and purging classes, and clean up. All the classes are reloaded. And I see my 2 classes, Führung and Führung Test, in a list that are only created in one project. I have a note there that it is present in a project and missing in the others. And I see that they have a red font in the column of classes because they are missing in the template. So what do? I see that the Führung Test is empty and missing in all other projects. So I simply delete it, right-click and delete the class. And then it would be removed from the list. And I have my second class Führung here. I see from the quantity at the front that it was used in 1 or more projects and that at least 3 entries are made. That means I want to add the class Führung into the template, so right mouse button, add class into template. And then I would like to pass it on to all projects where it doesn't exist yet. So we go on a class name again, right click and inherit class from template to mapping projects. You can see that when you make individual class changes, it takes a bit of time, depending on how large the hierarchy is, to save the change in the individual projects and then read the projects again. That means if I have small individual changes, I can do that through the class management dialog because I have always control over what I'm doing. And if I have a larger number of changes, perhaps adding new classes, adding new groups, then it is more efficient to do this through this dialog. That means I go to the template first, make my changes, and then apply the inherit function. But we'll do that in a separate tutorial. Now I look at the Führung class again and see that the blue color class missing in group, that is in the project I created it in the Maßnahme group, in the class management. So it has already been assigned to the group, and in other projects the class is currently only present in the all group, but not in the Maßnahmen group. I'm going back to the class name. I right-click Group Assignment. See a gray check mark here. This means it hasn't been assigned to all projects. And the red font is the same warning that the same status is not available for all projects. Here I am shown in the group all that I have 31 projects, 30 mapping projects, and 1 template. And at the moment it is assigned only to 2 projects, the template and the project in which I created it. I can activate a check mark here with a single click, and it will then be assigned to all projects. I can also deactivate the check mark, then this class will be removed from the measurement groups in all projects. I turn it back on and click OK. I can see now that the class name is black in font and the blue coloring of the individual projects is no longer present. I have now also renamed the class Rückbau or removal. So I have the class Rückbau, which seems to be present in all projects except it is missing in my project here. And when I look at Rückbau XXXX, I see the red warning that it is not present in the template. And I see the red mark that it is missing in all projects, but not in this one. Then I can now mark these 2 classes with Control button, right click and go on Merge Classes. And then I can choose the correct class name. Say Select. And then the classes in the projects, if they were created in different ways, will now be merged into one class. And that's the end of the topic of the class Rückbau.